Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
The death of a woman in a hit and run in Pembina County led to the arrest of her boyfriend. He wasn't inside the car that killed her, yet he was charged in connection to the incident. Valley News team Joshua Pagaro spent the last few weeks collecting exclusive body cam footage and audio recordings from investigators. Tonight, he looks at why the driver was let off the hook by authorities.
Pembina County deputies showed up to the front doorstep of 40-year-old Matthew Hilton on the morning of May 22nd of 2019.
Yeah. For domestics or what? Domestics, alcohol.
In this 32-minute-long video, deputies are chatting with Hilton.
She's the love of my life. She's my girl.
Halfway through, they announce he'll be under arrest for terrorizing.
On you having a gun out on the road, I am going to place you under arrest for terrorizing at this time.
Come on.
A few hours before his arrest, his girlfriend, 44-year-old Cami Leland, was killed outside his house near Drayton. Authorities say Leland was struck by the 21-year-old driver of a BMW.
Somebody just hit my girlfriend.
I know.
Why are you arresting me?
Because of being out there with the firearm is why.
I was protecting my property.
Hilton was reportedly standing in the middle of the road with a rifle to scare off people doing donuts and burnouts. The oncoming driver freaked out, swerved, and hit Leland. He kept driving until his passenger called 911.
There was a guy standing on the road with a gun, and we panicked, and all of a sudden we hit him.
911 audio recordings of that night show Hilton called dispatch 3 times before Leland's death to complain the vehicle's doing burnouts. No one showed up.
People come in my yard and raise hell. I call you guys to help. And I get going to jail?
Hilton brought this up to investigators during a jailhouse interview.
All of a sudden a black car drove by, and they were driving real slow, and they just kept speeding up and spinning rocks all over.
Authorities determined at the scene the driver and passenger did not appear intoxicated, so a field sobriety test was not done. Both denied drinking or using drugs. The driver admitted to having a 6-pack of beer in his trunk that he did not buy that night. The trooper found 3 beers. Both were coming from a bar in Drayton, and the receipt shows they did not purchase alcohol. A day after the incident, the driver tells authorities he took a voluntary urine test.
I've already had 20 nightmares just trying to fall asleep about this.
Hilton ended up dying by suicide a few months after he was slapped with a manslaughter charge. In Pembina County, Joshua Pagaro, Valley News Live.
We did reach out to the Pembina County Sheriff's Office for this story. We never received a response. A parent of one of the men inside the BMW did contact us, but refused speaking on the record. At this time, no one has been charged in connection with Cami Leland's death. In a related matter, if you need someone to talk to, on your screen is the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's 1-800-273-8255. When it comes to the weather, there's been no hump to get over on this Wednesday. It's been pretty smooth, and while that might be changing in the short term, tonight should be another night to enjoy. Hutch?
That is absolutely the case. Satellite and radar confirming just that. Barely any clouds here in our neck of the woods. Off to the west, though, in Saskatchewan, some storms screaming across the prairies of Canada. For tonight, temperatures near 90 in the Central Dakotas, mid-70s in our eastern counties. All in all, it looks very quiet and enjoyable this evening, with Fargo's temperatures slipping overnight, increasing clouds, and there will be a chance for some of those storms in Saskatchewan to rumble through our area as we go through the deep hours of the overnight. But tomorrow afternoon, Mike, we're watching a risk of severe storms across the valley. And we have issued a first alert weather day for a risk of isolated tornadoes, damaging wind and hail. I have details in your hour-by-hour forecast on when and where things are expected here in a minute.
Keep us posted. Thanks. A Grand Forks man is being indicted after he allegedly made violent threats to a phone company. A federal grand jury indicted Stephen Ralph Lindblad on charges of interstate communication of a threat to injure persons and false information and hoax. Authorities accused Lindblad of calling a phone company last August and stating that he had explosive materials and was going to commit a mass shooting. A 21-year-old Fargo man has been arrested on 3 counts of attempted murder after a reported shooting in Dilworth Sunday night. Authorities say Laval Antonio Ivy were passengers in a car and fighting about gas money. When the driver pulled over and told Ivy to get out, Ivy is accused of firing a gun at the vehicle several times. The driver was able to get away and ended up at Casey's gas station in Dilworth, where police were called. Ivy later admitted to deputies that he may have fired his gun at the car and that he took the gun apart and threw pieces in various places along the highway. North Dakota's Attorney General wants to ban a furniture repair business from operating in the state after Valley News Live did several whistleblower stories on the people who were cheated. Woodchuck Furniture allegedly took money and items from people to fix up and then never returned them and then went out of business. The Attorney General now wants Woodchuck Furniture to pay restitution and pay the state for all legal fees. Remember, if you notice any fraud or corruption in your community, let us know about it. Call the whistleblower hotline. That number's on your screen right now. We'll send a journalist to investigate the claims. Moorhead police are trying to figure out who fired a gun in the city's south side last night and then took off. It happened in the 3000 block of 18th Street South about 9:30. The shooter left the area on a motorcycle before police arrived. Empty bullet cartridges were found in the street, and a nearby vehicle had been shot at least once. No victims were found, and there was no evidence indicating anyone had been shot. Investigators are asking anyone with information to give them a call. Health officials in North Dakota say that they have now worked through the testing delay for COVID-19. The state is reporting 42 new cases today, bringing the active case count to 240. 18 of those cases are in Cass County, 12 in Burleigh County. 27 people are in the hospital with the virus. The death toll remains at 78. Minnesota is reporting 5 more deaths linked to the virus. This brings the death toll in Minnesota to 1,397. 1,102 of those deaths happened in a long-term care facility. 304 new cases are reported, bringing the active case count to 2,659. 29,707 people have recovered from the virus. Minnesota is joining other states to go after big oil companies claiming they're responsible for harming Minnesota's environment. The newly filed lawsuit names ExxonMobil, Koch Industries, and American Petroleum Institute. Minnesota's Attorney General Keith Ellison argues that these companies lied about the impact of their operations pertaining to the subject of climate change. The suit claims that fraud against the companies were all about it, and it argued that they violated Minnesota statutes that prohibit consumer fraud, deceptive trade practices, and false advertising, and did so for decades.
Our lawsuit shows, and we will prove, that they knew as early as the 1950s that carbon dioxide from fossil fuels was dramatically heating up the environment.
The Attorney General's office reports at least 15 other governmental entities have filed similar lawsuits. The Fargo-Moorhead Metropolitan Council of Government is working to rename a proposed greenway along the Red River after learning that the man it was originally going to be named after once wrote about white supremacy and scientific racism. The area was going to be called the Agassiz Greenway after geologist Louis Agassiz. MetroCog says it wants to create a space that is open and safe to everyone, so they are renaming the plan. No new name has been announced. Doctors are saying that the COVID-19 cases in some states are surging. Later on Valley News Live at 6, the recommendations that some lawmakers are supporting.
And very quiet weather here in the valley tonight. Thunderstorms in Saskatchewan heading our way during the overnight hours, and tomorrow is a first alert weather day. I'll give you all the details coming up right after this.